You're listening to the 300s podcast.
Hey guys, welcome to the 300s podcast, and this is episode 1. We're going to be posting on Mondays, so we were talking about everything in the past couple of weeks. And right now you're here with Red, Kyle, and Rick out of the Fenway studio. Guys, how are you?
What's going on?
Doing well.
Alright, so we're basically, just going to be shooting the shit about anything and everything in the world of sports. So, without further ado, let's get into it. I know the first thing we want to talk about, big news this past couple of days. The Chargers are making the grueling 2-hour trip moving down to Los Angeles. So now we have 2 goddamn football teams in LA.
Because that's necessary.
I mean, I know it's a money-related thing, but the Rams were there last year, and by week 3, I think the TV ratings were in the toilet. So it's not like Los Angeles was exactly clamoring for a second football team.
And they're sharing the stadium with the Rams, right? Well, the new stadium that's coming.
Yeah, in 2 years. Until then, they're playing in the house that Landon Donovan built at the LA Galaxy, which holds like 27,000 people.
I'll tell you what, though, people in San Diego should not be too upset about this. This is not like the St. Louis Cardinals moving to Phoenix, Arizona. This is more like the Pats when they were flirting with Hartford, Connecticut. If you're a San Diego Chargers fan, deep in Southern California, yeah, it does suck that it adds 2 hours of your Sunday if you're going to the game. But how many people down there were going to the game every week? And now they're not on the hook for $1 billion stadium built with taxpayer money.
Yeah, and the thing I love about it is I remember Phil Rivers was talking about, if they move, I'm going to retire because he's got the Partridge family with like 8 kids, so he didn't want to have to uproot his family. But seriously, that's like a commute that people legitimately will make to work every day, so it's not a huge change.
It's 2 hours. San Diego's 2 hours south of Los Angeles, 4 hours by car, but it's still doable. Like, if I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, if I want to go to Buffalo, that's 10 hours.
It takes me 2 hours to get to a Pats game, and I live 20 miles away.
It takes you 2 hours to get out of the parking lot in Foxborough.
Yeah, so they can stop bitching, but I don't know. I feel like it's weird to, whoever was coming second, obviously, Uncle Stan Kroenke was first on the scene, but whoever was second was going to have to be the little brother in the stadium, and I hate that. I mean, I know Kyle, you've been there. We went to a game once, the Jets and the Giants sharing a stadium, and it's just, it's got no flavor. It's very bland. There's no even coloring, and it's like you can't even tell it's one person's stadium, so you double the resources, but I think you get half the personality.
Yeah, and now you have
What's funny is they kind of moved away from these dual-purpose stadiums the last 20, 25 years thanks to Camden Yards. I actually like this move because instead of building a $1 billion stadium where you're going to host 8 to 10 games a year, at least now you host 20 to 24 a year.
a couple of U2 concerts in there, too.
Well, it's like...
I mean, do we really need $32 billion football stadiums in this country? If these teams in these loaded markets can share, I know with the new MetLife Stadium, that's more of a 50-50 partnership than the old Giant Stadium in the Meadowlands.
Yeah, hence the title.
Well, I mean, it's hilarious. The NFL has kind of held this LA market over everyone's head. All the owners, for 2 decades is like the white whale. This is where, if you guys don't act right, we'll move a team here. Or just kind of hold it over people's head like, this is where you want to be. This is the gold standard. And then they get there, no one gives a shit.
No one cares. Everyone's outside in the sun having fun. Why would you want to watch
The NFL
football?
was holding this over people's heads for so long, but they had Ari Gold start up the team in Entourage. The LA Cougars, I believe he was going to name them after Bass.
I'm still a little disappointed they never made that spinoff. Ari Gold as, the president of the LA whatever bullshit team. I would watch that every week. I'm sure Jerry Jones would love to get in on some more acting.
How about the Rams and the Chargers having identical color scheme?
That's true.
Like they're both blue and yellow?
I mean,
how does that work?
To be fair, the Chargers are baby blue.
The powder blue.
Powder
and yellow.
blue. Robin egg blue.
So which city's got to be the next city that owners use to hold these municipalities hostage? It was LA for the last 20 years. it's kind of Seattle in the NBA now.
Yeah, Seattle's been getting screwed.
Well, somebody's going to have to ship off to London soon because, Fuhrer Goodell is
You're
going
probably right.
like, obviously everyone thinks that's a terrible idea to put an actual team there because weren't they talking about like having a practice facility in like Virginia and then like busting them out?
Yeah, no, I remember hearing about that. Like the only way it would logistically work, because you're not going to get 50 guys to move to London, is literally have like a military base set up like in Virginia on the coast, and then 8 weeks a year they just hop over the pond. But God forbid, the London Fog are playing the friggin' Seahawks. That's like a 16-hour flight, and the game's gonna be on at 4 in the morning.
That's a
Which
hell
way
of
do
a
you go?
job.
I might go through Russia. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, you might have to go up and over.
Like, I get it. I like the London games because, you wake up and it's, football and eggs and a beer at 8 a.m. But if this was my team and I had to wake up and
That's on the East
play some shit team, ugh.
Yo, what time do the games start in LA? That's 6 a.m.
Yeah, it's 6 a.m. because I know
It's a 6 a.m. start.
Yeah, because they start at 9 on the East Coast. So imagine if you're a London Fog fan who's a LA transplant, you're waking up at 5 a.m. to start drinking. You might just stay up.
What you got to do, you got to put the team in London, and then when the team moves to Las Vegas and the game comes on at 5 a.m. out there, you don't wake up early for that game. You just don't go to bed.
Yeah, you just
rally all night.
start
and
drinking
you
at
stay
like
up for the game. You go to bed at 9:30 in the morning.
start drinking at like midnight and just keep going.
And I think that's, it leads us into the next topic. With the Rams and the Chargers both going to LA, that market's maxed out now. So, the next team that wants to move are the Raiders, and they've been kind of looking around where they might be able to go. And I know that Davis was looking down in Las Vegas, and I think they submitted the paperwork the other day to, start the actual process of trying to move down to Las Vegas.
Yeah, I think Schefter reported this morning that they intend to file the paperwork this week.
I gotta tell you, I love this move. I mean, right now they're sharing a stadium with the friggin' Oakland A's. They're sharing a stadium with Billy Beane, that nerd, and they're playing on a baseball field. That's not the 70s Raiders everyone always talks about. They need debauchery. They need, some grime, some shady business going on behind the games, and that's Vegas.
I will say, if there was any team that was perfect to move to Las Vegas, it's the Raiders. Could you picture any, like, the Browns?
Ugh.
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 Well,
And it brings up the old adage, if you can't be good, although they've been better lately, if you can't be good, be interesting. And in that city of tourists, you have a team out there that's popping heads off, that's going to be a good draw.
Yeah, the Raiders are actually good now. I mean, I'm already stoked with the new hockey team out there. I can't wait to go to a Bruins game. Imagine they have football. You go to a football game at 1 o'clock. You just, drink all day long, and then you go to the casino.
it's really a perfect scenario because even if you're coming off the hangover from the night before, so say you wake up at like 11 a.m. and you're like, oh my god, the last thing I want to do is drink. But then you go to a football game.
Yeah,
you at least buy yourself some time.
You
could just get banged up there too. So
it would be a phenomenal marketing ploy to have super specials on what is it called? The morning drinks.
Oh, mimosas.
Yeah, mimosas and Bloody Marys with the LA Raiders or the Vegas Raiders.
Couple of screwdrivers, too.
Oh, that'll get you right.
Well, I'm telling you, I would say within the next 10 years, you're going to see the Oakland Athletics move too. And it would be perfect if they followed the Raiders. Especially with the A, because now you could just take the A and make it like an ace. You could just totally rebrand, not change the team's name.
Yeah, Oakland, sorry guys, you're a garbage city. No one wants to be there anymore.
Yeah, no, it's you had your shot, it's just not working.
And they could cut the crap with over the years that the main thing they've always said why they don't want to move to Vegas is like, oh, it's gambling. We can't be associated with the gambling. Like, why the hell do you think anyone watches football anymore? Have you heard of fantasy football? Chris Berman's reporting the goddamn lines on ESPN. Shut up with complaining about gambling. That's what's driving your sport, and you know it.
Yeah, like gambling
Well,
only exists there.
These leagues are kind of like the government saying, oh, no, you can't have gambling. But if you're going to, we need to run it. We need to make sure it's on the up and it's safe. So these daily fantasy sites, they're getting shut down in some states so the states can open their own daily fantasy sites.
Yeah, you know who owns a piece of DraftKings? Bob Kraft. So I think they're all set with the gambling concerns.
I had no idea that was the thing.
Yeah, I mean that's like they're all DraftKings and what's the other one? FanDuel they actually merged, so there's only gonna be one next year. Because if you remember last season, it was completely unregulated. It was like the Wild West, and then you look at there was a story published. It was like look at the top earners, and it was like this guy won like $250,000, and then he's always placing in the top 10 in FanDuel, and then you look, oh, he's an employee. Like, no shit. They're like, no, he's just really smart. Like, okay, no, we're going to lock this down and actually regulate this a little bit.
How convenient.
And, all right, so what else are we talking about football? I know there's been a few coaches fired. One of them, of course, is, our old nemesis, Rex Ryan. And, we're here with our resident Bills fan, Kyle, so I got to ask you, was Rex really that bad, or did the Bills just need to get a reboot like Spider-Man?
I think the Bills reboot more often than Spider-Man. It's like, I'm not a huge fan of Rex. Like when he was first hired, I think you get caught up in that just Rex Ryan personality where like, yes, he's coming to Buffalo. This is gonna be a perfect fit. He's loud. He's obnoxious. He's gonna fit right in Buffalo. It makes the Bills have just been unwatchable for almost 20 years now. So you get that little bit of fire coming in. Week 4 rolls around, though, and immediately I'm just like, fuck this guy. I just can't.
You can't yap all year.
Yeah, I mean, he's been predicting.
You gotta pick and choose your spots to chirp.
He's predicting his team's gonna win the Super Bowl running on the last, 8 years since that first Hard Knock season.
He's just... I don't know.
Well, that was the thing. It's like, we live in Boston, and we always talked about going to Buffalo for a road trip and see the Pats or whoever. But then, those games are like week 8, and by that time, the Bills are 4 games out, and it's like, I'm not driving 12 hours to see some basement team.
Well, that's the problem. It's like, the only month that it's worth going to Buffalo to see the Bills is September, because they're not out of it yet, and it's not cold yet.
How about why? Like, did you hear one of the main reasons why he got fired? They were like, all right, so who are you going to start in the last game? Rex goes, Tyrod Taylor. And the ownership's saying, well, if he gets hurt, his salary's guaranteed, which is like $30 million, so why don't we not start him? And they're playing the Jets, so he's like, fuck that, I'm going to start him. And they're like, you know what? You're fired. We're going to start E.J. Manuel, and you're going to get the hell out of this building.
And then right after week 17, Tyrod gets the surgery anyway and still has to get paid the money.
That was a savvy move.
Schottenheimer did that to Drew Brees a couple of years ago. Remember that towards the end of his time in San Diego? They're playing Doug Flutie every other week, another former Buffalo Bill. But Brees, I think he got popped in week 17 one year, and they thought his career might be over before he went to New Orleans.
Yeah, he had that nasty shoulder injury, like some big fat defensive lineman just fell and ripped his shoulder. Because I remember that, and he was hurt when he was shopping around for a new team, and he went to try out for the Dolphins, and it's still funny because Nick Saban was the coach then, and he, of course, now he says, I wanted to sign him, but the medical staff wouldn't let me, and the Dolphins were like, he's full of shit, he didn't want to sign him. Imagine if the Dolphins signed Drew Brees. We could have had a different division in the last 10 years.
They got Dante Culpepper for a couple of weeks.
Dude, I remember that. It was week 1. He had like fucking 4 touchdowns, and he's doing like stupid salsa dances in the end zone, and then I never heard from him again.
His checking account.
And then he was playing in that, what was it, the UFL, where he was playing in like Hartford.
Yeah, we almost went to see that in college.
It was Dante.
Hey, Hartford finally got his pro football team, I guess.
Yeah, it was Dante Culpepper versus like J.P. Losman or some other asshole. Who else? What else we have for coaching? We had some new coaches get their first shot at a head coaching job. Speaking of the Rams, they hired McVay. He was the offensive coordinator out of Washington. Washington R words.
Not related to Timothy McVay.
He's the youngest coach in NFL history, and I love it. Like in a sport.
Thank God that guy's 2 months older than me, because it's bad enough that the ball players are younger than me now. Next is going to be the coaches. Then it's going to be the president someday. I don't like it, so I'm just glad I got 2 months on the guy.
Well, I love it. It's like, a sport that's dominated by old, boring guys. I mean, Bill Belichick's the greatest coach in probably the history of the sport, and he's an old, boring guy. So, McVay, for everything...
But don't forget, Belichick, I don't know how old he was when he was in Cleveland. I don't know offhand, but it was tough sledding for him in Cleveland. So I don't know if you want to hire some 30-year-old hotshot, because usually you want a guy to take his knocks somewhere else before he comes to coach your team. Look at Joe Torre in baseball. That guy was a train wreck in the 80s, and then he got to the Hall of Fame in 5 years in New York.
Yeah, I mean, it was the same thing with McDaniels. He was like, I don't know if he was the youngest coach then, but he was super young, and he came in and tried to be Bill Belichick, and Brandon Marshall was like, get the fuck out of my face. And they ended up trading him. And then I remember Jay Cutler got all pissy because he tried to trade him for Matt Castle, and he forced his way out of town. And then he used a first-round draft pick on Tim Tebow, and then he got fired like 6 months later. So
McDaniels would be the guy I would want to hire for the reason I just mentioned. He had his first head coaching job. He took his knocks. He's learned a lot. He's still in Bill's good graces, so apparently he knows how not to burn a bridge like the man Genius did.
yeah.
And, it almost makes me wonder, he's going to interview for these jobs. He knows Bill is not a young man. I almost wonder if McDaniels is going to let this thing ride itself out, and when Bill wants to retire in 4 years, 8 years, whatever it may be, guy's not going to coach forever, and McDaniels probably knows that taking over after Belichick is probably better than drafting some guy out of North Dakota State in L.A.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he wants to stick around, though, because, Bill's, he's one of the older coaches in the league, but he's only, in his 60s. That guy's going to coach till he dies. I don't think he's retiring anytime soon.
Well, how many vacancies?
Belichick's 65. I think Carroll is 66, because every time the Seahawks are on national TV, Al Michaels says, there he is, the oldest coach in the league. He doesn't act it, though. He's got tons of energy for a man his age.
Well, I can't believe he's older than Belichick. I mean, there's something to be said for living in California for fucking 20 years and hanging out.
There's another guy. He had a couple of head coaching jobs before he really turned it around at USC, and he came back and got one more chance in the NFL, and he's making the most of it. So, again, all the luck to this McVay kid, but I don't know if it's the route I would go if I were a GM.
Well, one of the reasons why I heard, speculation why McVay got hired, obviously, he's a young, hot coaching commodity, but he allegedly was, big on Jared Goff. He might have just been telling the owner what he wants to hear, but I guess he was saying, I like him, I can work with him. I don't agree. I think he's terrible. Obviously, that team's terrible, so you don't really know, but he looked overmatched. The guy didn't dress for what, 2/3 of the season. And then when he got in there, he looked like, he didn't want to be there. I don't know if you watched Hard Knocks this year. The guy looks, a couple chromosomes short.
Yeah, that tends to happen.
So, maybe McDaniels went in there and said, I don't want to work with this guy.
McVay's the offensive whiz kid. Who they're bringing in to be the defensive coordinator? Wade Phillips. Wade Phillips has been in the NFL for 40 years. He started in the NFL 10 years before McVay was born.
Yeah, he's
Imagine those
70.
types of conversations on the sideline. I think we should go for a fake punt. No, we're not.
Well, that's like...
All right, Dad.
That's like his dad on the sideline. Like, you know what? I think we can get this. No, go sit down. We're going to do this. But I think that's smart. It's like, imagine he starts bringing in his 28-year-old coordinators. They would be like, oh, what have we done? we've just hired a frat fraternity to run the LA Rams.
Well, how many coaching vacancies are left?
There's only one. The only one left is San Francisco, which is you couldn't pay me enough money to go there. The place is a shithole organization that's falling apart, and they're gonna have their fourth coach in the last 4 years.
Yeah, that doesn't.
Can you imagine having to answer Colin Kaepernick questions every week? I mean, say what you want about the guy, but that is a distraction. As a head coach, no thanks.
Yeah, and Chip got screwed. I mean, he went there. The team was awful. They knew they were going to be awful, and surprise, they were awful, and they fired him. What's he supposed to do with Colin Kaepernick, and then who was the other guy? He was the old not the old Rams. He was the old Jaguars high pick who sucked. I don't remember his name right now. But there's no talent on that team. But I heard someone say that's why McDaniels might want to go there. Assuming they're actually gonna stick with a coach for a while. They know they need to start from square one, and he can build his program. He can draft his guy rather than going in and trying to build around the number one draft pick who might suck. So speaking of football, something else that came up this week that I am very excited by. Dan Wetzel had a Yahoo column, and there's a new football league coming out. And anytime there's a new football league, I get excited. RIP to the XFL, the USFL, the UFL. Arena football is still kicking around somehow. There was that football league that was playing at like Harvard for a summer. So
which was the one that how the Islanders got their mascot?
That's arena football.
That's arena football.
Sparky
the Dragon. Should I tell the Sparky the Dragon?
How did that happen again?
So, about 10 years ago, the New York Islanders, they used to play at Nassau Coliseum, now they play at Barclays in Brooklyn. So they used to share the Nassau Coliseum with an arena football team named the Long Island Dragons. And the Islanders didn't have a mascot at that point, and I think in an attempt for a little bit of cross-promotion, they adopted pretty much an Islander version of the Dragons mascot. So the Dragons were black and red. So they thought it would be a good idea to have a blue and orange dragon and named it Sparky. And then the arena football team folded, and now they were left with this bastard dragon. But it just became a fan favorite that it stuck around. And I try to explain this story to people, and they just look at me like I have 8 heads. And then when they moved to Brooklyn, they actually said they were going to get rid of the dragon because, remarketing with the Brooklyn, whole Brooklyn aesthetic. And they got such an uproar from the fans that like 3 months into the season, they brought him back. So this little dragon that came out of a dead arena football team just, stuck around for the long haul.
Yeah, that's better.
Islanders probably felt bad for their fans. Hey, there are just absolutely god-awful sight lines in half the seats here. We'll give you the goofy mascot back.
We'll give you the blue dragon, just because, why not?
Even in the new arena, what moron architect designed that? Like, all right, we're going to build a basketball arena in Brooklyn. Hey, Jay-Z, you think we should maybe make it a little bit bigger just in case maybe we want to host a hockey game once or twice? Nah, screw it. A year later, wait, we're having a hockey team come in. So now they extend it. There's a friggin' car in the one corner, and then if you sit, anywhere in that stadium, first off the jumbotron is off center, and then there's like TVs hanging down. It's like the old arena.
It's just a shiny version of the old arena. That's pretty much all it is. And now they're even saying that because they got new ownership this year, that they actually might leave Brooklyn and either go back to Long Island or. Well, back to Long Island in Belmont next to the racetrack. Apparently there's state land that they have no idea what to do with, that they might fund an arena there, or they might team up with the New York Mets and put an arena next to that and kind of utilize the same parking lot.
Kyle, forget that. They should just play in City Field. We'll do the Winter Classic. We've got so many Winter Classics now. We'll just play outside 40 times a year. Why not?
I mean, I'm any excuse to go to City Field's fine by me. They got great food there.
We're going to play football in London, and we're going to play outdoor hockey every day of the year. It's just where we're going.
It's fine by me.
Yeah, but going back to that football league.
Yeah, the arena of football.
So it's called Pacific Pro Football League, I think. And basically what it is it's actually Tom Brady's agent, I think his name's Yee, is one of the guys involved in it. And so is Mike Shanahan. They're starting a football league where essentially it's going to be like a developmental league where it's going to be an alternative to NCAA college football. So, if you graduate high school and you don't really want to go to college, or maybe you want to actually make a little bit of money, you can go there. And I think it's a great idea because, one, they were talking about how much the player's going to get paid. It's like $50,000. If I was an 18-year-old athlete, do I want to go pretend to go to class for, 3 years, or I want to go make $50K a year? Is that a great idea? Maybe not. But I think it could help really reduce the huge amount of busts in the NFL, because you get these guys coming in, like even this year, you're the top 2 quarterbacks, like, oh, they've never taken a snap under center. Oh, they can't read a defense. Like, what the fuck can they do?
Yeah, why are you drafting them then?
So I know this league's supposed to be a little bit more developmental. It's kind of like training guys in pro offenses, how to actually be on a football team. So by the time they are of age to be drafted, they actually know what's going on.
I like it. I think there's an appetite. I think there's a market for spring football. I think the XFL was a missed opportunity, And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It doesn't have to beat the NFL. It doesn't have to beat this behemoth. I'll watch Arena Football League games at 10:30 on a Saturday night in the dead of winter if nothing else is on. And, maybe don't shoot to be the next NFL. Shoot to, get 20,000 people a game.
Yeah, I mean, that's where all these leagues die out. They try and topple the NFL. Like, that's a however many billion-dollar industry. You're not going to walk in with a bunch of B-list scrub players and beat them. But if you have an alternative and it's some other kind of smaller league, I would totally watch that.
I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to that XFL 30 for 30. I have not really gone back and thought too much about the XFL lately, but
that's going to be good.
Opportunity.
That's going to be good because, I was a little younger, so I remember watching the games, but obviously I don't remember the politics of why it fell apart, so that'll be great to see.
When does that air?
I think it's after the Super Bowl, right?
It's on ESPN, right?
I don't know who. They're always like, oh yeah, this is after the Super Bowl. New 24 premieres after the Super Bowl. I'm like, that game ends at like 11:30. I'm going to bed.
That was the great thing about West Coast Super Bowl. 3:30 in the afternoon, you wash your hands of it by 7, you still got a little night ahead of you.
Yeah, I'm very washed. Unless it's a Patriots game, by halftime, I'm ready to go to bed. All right, so we're getting closer to the spring, so you know what that means. We're in the Fenway studio. We're only a few steps away from Fenway itself, the Cathedral of Boston. So, baseball's coming up, new Red Sox season. They got Chris Sale, so now they have 3, $20 million pitchers. Well, I guess he doesn't make that much, but whatever. And, Kyle being a big Mets fan. Yeah. And Kyle being a big Mets fan, I think kind of a question that's come up is, now who's got the better rotation? I know the Mets have, the last couple of years, had a dominant rotation with all the young power arms. And the Red Sox bought one. So, we got David Price, we got Chris Sale, and we got Pretty Ricky. So, who do you think's a better rotation?
See, in theory, I don't know if it's just me and my Mets bias, but if the Mets rotation that's supposed to be shows up, then the Mets. Because not only, we have Syndergaard, who is 100% our ace now. I don't care what anyone talks about. Matt Harvey sucks. We should have traded him when we had the chance.
The Dark Knight.
The guy has played one season out of the last 3, and then before he got hurt last season, had an ERA of like 5. So
plus he's fat.
Plus he's really fat. Like, come on, dude.
You been trying?
There's different levels of fat. Where like Bartolo Colon, like that's sexy fat. Matt Harvey's just like you're a disgrace. But that brings you to wonder, like, why is it okay for Colon to just be?
Because he's so fat. He's like, the guy at the party wearing a Hawaiian shirt. He's funny fat. Harvey just looks like a guy who should be like, a young Roger Clemens, but he's like, fuck, I'm gonna have a few Budweisers, heavy, not light.
Yeah, between him, if Harvey shows up, the Harvey that, everyone talks about, the Dark Knight, if he actually shows up, then you got him plus Syndergaard, DeGrom, who else is on that team? Zach Wheeler's back. He was supposed to be, pretty much the equal to Harvey before he got Tommy John and missed 2 seasons. So it's like there's a lot of question marks coming to the season. Plus you have Gesellman and Lugo, who stepped up last year, who came out of nowhere. Like, I've never even heard of these guys playing, I think Lugo was AA. He didn't even, I forgot which one. One of them never even made it to AAA and came straight up to the major club, and they totally held their own. So you get 6 pitchers right there who, and then you have Steven Matz too. So that's 7. So
yeah, most of those guys are homegrown, aren't they?
I think every single one of them. Well, Syndergaard, yeah, we traded R.A. Dickey and got Syndergaard. Or the R.A. Dickey trade was for us to get the Toronto Blue Jays' best catching prospect, Travis d'Arnaud, and then they threw Syndergaard in for the fuck of it. And, d'Arnaud hits about .95 a year, and he's still our starting catcher, while Syndergaard is just, coming to his own.
And those guys are all young, and obviously just have a few injuries, but if they stay healthy, they're all power arms too. I remember watching the playoff run a couple years ago, and they're all throwing like 100.
Yeah, they can be scary when they want to be, but it's the Mets, so you never know who's going to show up, who's going to get hurt. Harvey just What was the controversy with Harvey? Oh, it was when he was coming back.
Yeah, the innings cap.
The innings cap, and then
he
was saying all the wrong things.
Yeah, you could just be like, yeah, my doctors don't want me to go over this because my arm might explode. But no, he comes out and says, yeah, my inning cap's 180, whatever it is. He's like, I'm not going over it.
Yeah.
Because I got a contract to worry about.
He just comes off as just, not a team player, where you get guys like, if you just follow like Noah Syndergaard on Twitter, he's the funniest dude alive. He has like a fake feud or like maybe a real feud going on with the Mets mascot. He's constantly hitting on Mrs. Met. it's the funny, like, you have to check out the exchange, just the back and forth. It's absolutely hilarious.
I mean, he was the guy for a couple of years, and they're like, he's the Dark Knight. He's gonna save the Mets, and then the other guys came up, and now he's like, what, your fourth starter?
Yeah, now
probably,
Harvey's like the fourth or fifth starter.
Yeah, he's just bitter Barry probably.
They should have traded him. I've been saying it for 3 years now. They should have traded him when everybody was high on him. Could have got some great bats, but no. Now he's just kind of there, kind of stinks. And we just have to
New York Clay Buchholz just hang around forever.
Oh, yeah, he threw a no-hitter his second start, and then he was consistently up and down for fucking a dozen years.
Harvey went through arbitration. I think he settled yesterday for $5 million. So that's good.
That's the big advantage you guys have. All those guys make nothing.
Yeah, Syndergaard makes like $600K.
That's ridiculous. I mean, we have Price making, I think, almost 30. We have Porcello making about 20, and then we have Chris Sale. I think he's only making like 15. But then you got to factor in, you trade him on Kata, but you have to eat all that money that you posted for him. So that works out to be like $20 million with all the money you're eating anyways. So I think that's one of the big advantages the Mets rotation has. That's the one thing I will say with the Red Sox, though. Porcello had a terrible first year, but he had a great bounce back year. Obviously, he won the Cy Young. Price had an up and down first year. He looked great at times. He looked shitty at times. I don't know if he still can handle it. And they both obviously imploded in the playoffs. So I mean, you got to give credit to Dombrowski and finally going out and getting another guy. So hopefully they can all put it together. But I mean, you got those three guys who have all. I don't know if Chris Sale has he won a Cy Young? Because if not, he's been in the top like 5 voting like the last 5 years. So you have 3 perennial Cy Young candidates, and then rounding out the rotation, you shipped out Clay Buchholz, who good riddance. People still talk about how he gutted out that World Series game. Like, he pitched like 4 innings and he sucked. So that's neither here nor there. But you got rid of him. Then you got Eddie Rodriguez, who he's been great. He's been up and down. He's got potential. He's a young lefty, which is another interesting thing. The Red Sox rotation has 4 lefties. I've never seen that. And then
they didn't have a lefty after Bruce Hertz left in the '80s, and now they've got 4.
That's wacky.
Better hope that Fenway's not a right-handed hitter's park, right?
Right. And then closing out, we got Stephen Wright, the knuckleballer, who I think John Farrell doesn't like him because he almost assassinated his career last year when he had him pinch running. This fat softball player pinch running in a Major League Baseball game almost blew his shoulder out.
All right, I need a pinch runner. Who's my best pitcher who's not pitching today? All right, I'm going to put you in.
Oh, and then Pomerantz. It's like, I mean, at least that guy, he was in the National League. He has experience running the bases. Why would you pick the softball beer league baseball player over the guy who was just running around a fucking week before? So I'm glad, probably our 6th starter, our middle relief pitcher is the guy we traded our top pitching prospect for. So that's good. I saw a disgusting stat. I mean, it's not surprising because before Dombrowski came to town, the big thing was, yeah, he hates prospects. He's gonna trade that shit like Monopoly money, and then he's done that. So I forget what it was, but he's traded like 9 of the top Red Sox 10 prospects, and there's like, I think Sam Travis is the only guy that's left. So everyone is out the door. He's made some good moves. He's made some terrible moves. Obviously, the Pomerantz thing is looking pretty bad right now, so we'll see. But either way, I think Red Sox have, if not the best, one of the top rotations in the AL. And then the Mets probably the only rotation that can really rival that.
I mean, like I said, it's going to be one of those situations where we're going to have to wait and see. On paper, the Mets look great. Who actually shows up, who knows? But at least this Red Sox thing will, I'm sure it'll come in from a down year. 2 years? Well, so last year they made the playoffs, but they got knocked out.
They got swept.
But, all these pitching acquisitions, I'm sure are going to help boost season ticket sales.
Yeah, that was one thing I know we talked about. Season tickets and maybe buying season tickets. That is a commitment because what is it? It's 81 games. Even if it's $30 a ticket, that's like $5,000.
So about 2 months ago, I don't know. Maybe I was just bored. I called the Sox ticket office and was trying to weasel my way into 2 seats for the bleachers for a full season ticket, so the full 81 games. And the quote that they gave me was $2,500 a seat. So theoretically, I'm like, $2,500. It's not exactly cheap, but for 81 games, I'm like, I'll do that. But then again, you can't buy just one seat.
Can't buy one seat.
You can't, unless you're a complete psychopath, sitting in the seats doing the book.
The Glansberg package.
Yeah, so you have to get at least 2. So right there, that's $5,000. So if you have people to go in on it with, it's not that bad. But, no one seemed to, at the time, want to be fronting this much money. But I started doing the math as far as, so it's pretty much unrealistic that you're going to go to all 81 games. Right. So the most likely scenario is that you're going to want to go to a few weekends. But I live so close to the stadium where it's not a big deal for me to go on a weeknight. But other people, parking down here is a nightmare, and just getting down to the area in general, it's just not worth it. But it actually pays for itself if you're good at flipping tickets. So I just ran on the theory that going by old StubHub prices, so Sox weekday tickets go for if you can go on StubHub and get tickets for the bleachers for anywhere from $10 to $20, you'll be able to find a ticket on any given weekday night, as long as they're not playing the Yankees or something like that. But if you were to flip just the weekend tickets, because the weekend tickets I saw were going for about $120.
Ridiculous.
120. The $100 jump from weekday to weekend is just absolutely insane. But I ran with, if you were to flip every single weekend ticket you had, so I think that comes out to 30. It was 32 games or something like that the Sox were in town for weekend series. If you were to flip every single one of those, you'd make all your money back, and you'd still have the 50 weekday tickets. So it's as long as you were committed to not going on the weekend, you could go to 50 Sox games for free.
So the question is, can you get season tickets for $5,000 without having a nervous breakdown? Because then you gotta hustle, you gotta sell some tickets, otherwise you could be eating some money.
Yeah, that's the thing I think that scared me off, because I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just put it on my credit card, it'll be no problem. I'm like, shit, I really gotta actually actively try to sell these tickets back, because I can't just eat $5,000. Otherwise, I'm going to see every single Sox game this year. I'm going to get every bobblehead, every magnet, every T-shirt giveaway.
Well, because Rick, you made a good point. Back now they're calling you, they're emailing you hey, season tickets. You want season tickets? I can get you season tickets. Back in the day, it was not like that.
You couldn't get into that ballpark 15 years ago or so. 2003 to 2008, 2009 or so, you couldn't get in, or if you're getting in, you were talking to some guy on the street paying 25% over asking price, paying $100 to sit down near Pesky's Pole, some of the worst seats in all of professional sports. Now, it's Red Sox ticket prices right on StubHub at night.
Yeah, and that's a weird thing, because I remember the same thing, 03, 04 in particular. Obviously, that was, right before they won it, so it was kind of, at its peak, and, they were really good, obviously, then. A Yankees ticket would be $200. Now, it's all right, well, here's face value, you're in. So, it's just weird seeing emails asking me if I want to get season tickets, and the guy pestering me. I would love to do it, but, I don't have the balls to lay out $5,000 and hope I'm a good enough salesman to make up for it.
Well, you buy season tickets, and the team goes out on a 2-week West Coast road trip, you've got stock. You're going to watch it. You just see if that stock price goes up or down, because if they go out on the West Coast and they come back 3-11 or something like that, those first tickets you were going to sell when they came back, they're no longer going for 55. They're going for 25, and little Johnny's going to state school.
I can't even imagine going to 81 games. the most I ever went to, and it was awesome, was 2013. Me and Kyle, we were living in Austin, so it was like we could walk to the stadium, take 20 minutes. So that was the most convenient thing, and I think I went to like 15, 20 games. And also, our other roommate was a bartender at Fenway, around the corner, so we were getting loaded for free. So of course they go on the World Series run, so that's more games, more tickets, and I shelled out a lot of money and then drank a lot of beers, and that was like 15, 20 games. I can't imagine going to 4 times that amount of games.
And I'll say this though, I've known people in other markets that have bought the 20-game pack. The 20-game packs are worse because at least with the full season ticket package, if you're going to try to be a player and flip these weekend tickets, you can choose which games you want to go to. But these 20-game packs, you'll have me and say, damn it, I got Twins tickets tonight. Here we go. I think you throw away more tickets in a 20-game pack than you would in the full season pack.
Yeah, I think it's only worth it if you live like right by a stadium, and luckily, Kyle could throw a baseball and hit the green monster.
The many perks of living next to a stadium that you're not. So, being a Mets fan, I don't hate the Red Sox. I can't say I actively support them. It's pretty much just comes down to I hate the Yankees, and you also hate the Yankees. So it's like that the enemy of your enemy is your friend kind of thing.
We got a common goal. I mean, every time the Red Sox would shit the bed and the Mets were still in it, I throw my support behind the Mets. Only makes sense. As long as the Yankees don't win, I don't really care. But I don't know. Anything else we want to talk about in the first episode?
I don't know. I think we talked their ear off a little.
Yeah, I got a good recap a lot of topics. So we're gonna be talking about pretty much anything sports related. So we're gonna be posting these on Mondays. So we'll recap the last week before that, and see if you guys like it. All right, guys. Thank you. Thanks for listening, Kyle, Rick. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. See you next time.